sometimes the Spirit can use the church as a way of dispelling fear, and then sometimes I think the church uses its own power rather than the power of the Spirit to instill and increase fear. That those of us in ministry, especially those of us in pulpits, interpreting Scripture, have got to remember the power that we have to either use the Scripture as bread and as a way to increase faith and wholeness and healing and justice, or we can misuse it as stone. Mm-hmm. I just think there's in this culture that does pulsate with such fear right now, in particular, we have a responsibility to think about how we are or are not contributing to the upbuilding of fear, right, or not.
Right.
Part of what I am feeling called to do and what the staff with whom I work here at Fourth Church are feeling called to do is actually cultivate a sense of dissatisfaction, mm-hmm, and to try and begin to speak race, racism, white privilege in a way where those of us who don't have to know that story on a lived basis become dissatisfied with the way the world is, so that we can do what we can to have the courage to be honest about our fear of what we will lose, so that God can work with us to help do whatever for the world as God imagines and hopes. But what I'm feeling that we are being called to do in the city of Chicago, to be stewards of the power and the privilege that we have, is to cultivate this dissatisfaction so that we can start to be changed.
I like that word, dissatisfaction.
And it's going to be scary, but that's the only way, moving into that's the only way I feel like it's going to be able to be faithful in living out our baptism. How else can we be a faithful community, be in the cruciform shape? How else can we say we're following Jesus, crucified and risen, if we're not willing to head into that fear and being willing to say, what do we need to change and let go of?